Hello, welcome to Salford Now. Coming up in today's program.
How a world-leading program will help those who care for a child with fetal alcohol syndrome.
If we have a training program ready for parents of children with FASD to use, that's something that doctors can give a diagnosis and then say, and you can go on this training program now, which should be able to help you.
Could food packaging labels be the answer to Salford's obesity crisis?
And why singing Christmas carols are bringing the community together.
Good evening, I'm Damien Pickett.
And I'm Tika Mudiwa. A top story today. The University of Salford is developing what has been described as a world-leading program to help those who care for a child with fetal alcohol syndrome.
Excessive prenatal exposure to alcohol can cause damage to a child's brain, impacting their later life. Reese Blanchard has our first story.
Where today's conference has been held, and I've spoken to Alan Price, who of course is leading the research on the training programme. Fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, or FASD, is brain damage of a fetus caused by drinking during pregnancy. It impacts people's lives and their loved ones around them. Sandy Butcher has an adopted teenager who lives with the condition.
You've got this loved person in your life who spends most of their day misunderstood by every kind of encounter that they have with every kind of power structure, every kind of situation in a home, and to watch somebody that you love internalizing this negativity that comes at them from every source around them is just devastating. And
currently, there's little research being done around how to deal with FASD. But Alan Price, a PhD student from the University of Salford's School of Health and Society, has plans to change that.
I'm working on a training program for parents of children with FASD to try to help them to care for their children more effectively. This training course will help them to implement strategies that hopefully can be effective and to improve the outcomes of their children. If we have a training program ready for parents of children with FASD to use, that's something that doctors can give a diagnosis and then say, and you can go on this training program now, which should be able to help you out.
The programme could also help teachers on how to deal with children who suffer with FASD, as behavioural changes often happen during early school years. Amy Teague teaches a Year 1 class at a Salford primary school.
Obviously, you are aware of children coming into your class, you're aware of their data, you're aware of their emotional behaviour. If it's starting to rise and it's affecting our children, then absolutely we need to be equipped to be able to deal with that within the classroom on a day-to-day basis.
As well as being a mother, Sandy is also CEO of NoFAS UK, the country's leading organisation in raising awareness of FASD.
the work that's being done is leading not just here, but globally.
So one of the main issues with FASD in the UK is that we don't know how many people are living with it. That's because there's not a lot of research projects around the area, which means it's hard to diagnose. Official research figures suggest that it affects 3 to 4% of the population, which means that currently in Salford, around 9,400 people are living with it. One thing that we do know, however, is that this research is making positive change.
It's almost like a perfect storm of positivity is coming, that things are starting to change. And that's
Reese Blanchard, Salford Now.
A conference was held today bringing together FASD experts. Our reporter Reese was at the conference.
Yes, I'm at the University of Salford where today's conference has been held, and I've spoken to Alan Price, who of course is leading the research on the training programme, and he said that he is thoroughly chuffed that they've sold all 120 tickets, which have gone to the UK's leading experts in FASD, and of course this many experts in one area can only mean one thing: there's going to be positive change on the matter.
Now, TK, I've heard that your favorite dessert is strawberry cheesecake.
You heard right.
Well, what if I were to tell you that for every slice of cheesecake, you'd have to run for 18 minutes to burn it off?
You won't catch me on a treadmill.
Well, this might just be the answer to helping tackle Salford's obesity crisis. Mwika Balaya has more.
When buying your dinner, do you look at the nutritional information on the packaging? UK researchers have proposed a new initiative that looks at reducing excess eating and tackling obesity. How would you feel about knowing how much exercise is needed to burn off those Christmas mince pies and more?
I think I'd feel less guilty.
Things like chocolate or a treat, you want to know how to work it off. It's not just basic eating to keep you going. So yeah, I totally agree it would be helpful.
Like if you know what you actually have to do, it'd stop you just having loads in a row, like finishing a packet of something rather than just eating in moderation.
Salford has a big problem with childhood obesity. 1 in 5 children aged between 10 and 11 are obese. In Salford, just under a third of the population is inactive. The cost of this inactivity is at least £25.6 million due to avoidable health, social care and other factors. A fitness instructor from the University of Salford Sports Centre says some habits are hard to kick.
Some people who are ready to make change, it does help them. It helps them to understand a bit more. But yeah, there's a bit more to it than just labelling. For some people, they may start to obsess over exercise too much. And I've seen people do it before. As soon as they eat a food, they'll try to go to the gym, or I know one person bought a bike to take home. So if he'd had a Chinese at the weekend, he'd be on the bike trying to burn off the calories for it. For success overall, there needs to be more work to educate people, working on the foundations, all the underlying issues that are there for people's to change people's long-term habits and lifestyle behaviours.
This is just one method of monitoring your eating. However, is it debatable that it's too excessive? Mwika Balaya, Salford Now.
A recovering addict from Salford has thanked the rehab organisation for saving his life. Charity Thomas in Swinton is using a unique method to welcome drug and alcohol addicts back into society. Tom Bowen has more.
Dressers, chairs, tables and desks. Thomas Furniture Restoration in Swinton has it all. But this isn't just any furniture store. All the items here were upcycled from recovering addicts.
The furniture's broken, it's a mess, looks a mess. But you restored it back to its former glory, and that's what Thomas does for people. Gets them back to the former selves.
Do you mind showing us which piece you've done? Yeah.
Before joining Thomas, Wayne battled with drug and alcohol addiction. Now, 6 months later, he is breathing new life into abandoned furniture and reconnecting with family.
Basically, to tell the truth, if I hadn't got into Thomas, I would have been dead either the beginning of end of this year or the beginning of next year, and that is the truth.
For those struggling to integrate themselves back into society, the Social Enterprise Project aims to equip those with structure and employability skills. It's for this reason our next client wishes to remain anonymous.
Coming into Thomas has given me structure, slowed me down, they saved my life as well, because I wouldn't have lasted much longer. And it's a new start to do things differently, and yeah, and take time.
So it's really sort of for people to start to do activity which is work-based, work-related, to adapt to the rules of working conditions, so that the next stage in people's recovery, which is actually getting back into real life, isn't as traumatic as potentially it could be. I think they feel that they've got the gift of their own life back, and it's not necessarily what we've given them, it's what they've worked at to get to a place where they can actually start to enjoy life just the same as you and me.
Giving me a new life as well. Yeah.
A new life, just like your furniture.
Just like the furniture, yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God, you are so clever.
Thomas Bowen, Salford Now.
Last night, a group of students from the University of Salford raised money to support young people who are sleeping rough this Christmas. With 60% of the homelessness in people in Salford under the age of 35, Eagle Inn in Acres played host to an alternative comedy night, with all the proceeds going to homeless charity Centrepoint.
Also you know, you think of comedy nights, you think about going to see like the likes of Michael McIntyre and people like that, and you're all sat in the audience and watching. Whereas this isn't like that. This is more, it's more interactive. People are standing, people are watching, people are getting involved. You know, we've got an interactive hashtag where people can send in their own jokes, which the compere is going to read out, and the best one will win a pint and things like that.
Now I'm aware you went to the comedy show last night. Did you have any laughs yourself?
I did a couple.
And how much money was raised for Centrepoint by the end of the night?
It raised £328.50.
Very nice. Now, a fitness and well-being coach has been running well-being workplace sessions for staff at 2 Eccles nurseries. Emily Dawes, who runs the sessions, is aiming to exercise more accessible for busy workers.
I wanted to make exercise accessible for everybody. We spend a lot of time at work, and then when we're at home, we don't have much time to do anything else.
Now, we had quite a variety of unique sporting events yesterday, so let's see what's on today. Anything exciting, Josh?
Yes, indeed. We are kicking off the sport today with an English boxing legend, born and bred here in Salford. Jamie Moore is opening the gym in his hometown in Walkden in efforts to combat antisocial behaviour amongst youths. Kate Lambert has more.
I always say, I've told this story loads of times, if that bit of fate didn't happen and wasn't given that window of opportunity to change my life, I don't know where my life would have took me.
Holding 5 titles over his time in the profession, Jamie Moore is a British hero in boxing. He is now turning his attention elsewhere to be a hero in a different kind of way.
Antisocial behaviour is on the rise, and knife crime in Manchester has doubled over the past 3 years, with Salford being one of the most high-risk areas. Professional boxer Jamie Moore grew up here and walked in, and now wants to give something back to the community by providing opportunities and a safe space for the young people who live here.
Amateur boxing clubs are renowned for having a big impact on the community, you know, regarding antisocial behaviour. In the long run, you know, getting kids from a young age, and it teaches them discipline, respect. You know, it's great for your fitness, obviously. I always say it's one of the harshest lessons in what you can have, where if you don't listen to what you're being told, you can get yourself hurt in boxing. So it's a great lesson for the kids in that sense. We're going to hopefully open provisions up during the day where kids will be allowed who've been excluded from school. So we'll sort of set up a thing where they can come on board and be taken under our wing. They'll be asked to do educational work first, and then they'll be allowed to box in the afternoons. This centre where we're going to be basing it, they've had a lot of problems over the last few years. This has been like 3 years in the making for me. I had a meeting a few years ago about trying to get a boxing gym on here to reduce the antisocial behaviour with the kids and stuff. So I always said that once I'm in a position to try and give back to the area, and obviously walking through here on a daily basis, seeing the problems they've got with the kids, and knowing the impact a boxing gym can have on the community, it was a no-brainer that we should try and get it off the ground and try and help these kids out.
Kate Lambert, Salford Now.
Have you ever wondered what it takes to become a black belt? Well, the Family Martial Arts Club in Winton welcomes people of all ages to not only learn karate, but also to combat mental and physical health issues. George Whitehouse went down to Channa. He's in a Jackie Chan.
When you say karate, you think of Kung Fu Panda, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or the Karate Kid, or even Roberto Firmino. But at this Salford martial arts class, they're teaching kids and adults alike how to look after their mental health and their physical health.
The classes are for all ages, where parents and their kids can come down and try it out. It's run by Chief Instructor Peter Watt and is based in the Swinton area in Salford.
On a weekly basis we hold classes 5 times a week, but mainly we hold it for families, people that want to gain in confidence, learn self-defence and a traditional martial art.
One member, Mark Weatherburn, joined the club as a way of protecting himself after being attacked by a gang in April 2016.
It was 2 years ago now, and I had a bit of depression with it as well. So I've come here and it's really helped me out. I suffered a broken nose and orbital bone was fractured as well. It was a group of lads and I got beat up pretty bad, and I just didn't feel comfortable anymore, so I decided to do some martial arts.
When was that?
So having watched everyone make it look so easy, I thought I would give it a try. I made light work of the first kick, so Peter decided to take it to the next level. I missed. I nailed the second, delivering a swift strike that could kill a man. Well, what a great evening we've had at the karate place. You know, I've really learned a lot about mental well-being and also looking after your weight. Really good evening.
From sparring foes to scoring goals, Earlham Football Club, the only non-league side left in Salford, are urging more people to attend their matches as they push for promotion. The club are currently sitting third, and a win against Rylands this weekend will bump the club up to second place. And that's all for sport. I'll be back tomorrow with the latest.
Thanks, Josh. Now, December is surely the hardest time to be homeless, but the Narrowgate Night Shelter in Pennington offers a warm, welcoming space for homeless people to stay and get back on their feet. Libby Goodman has the story.
Narrowgate Night Shelter is a shelter for homeless people, and at this time of year when it can be really lonely, they're looking for more volunteers. I went to speak to some of the people that use this shelter to understand more what it's like.
The shelter runs 24/7 days a week and 365 days a year. They have 30 beds for homeless people, as well as offering breakfast and dinner and activities throughout the day. Barry Matley, manager of the shelter, explains the importance of it being open in the day as well as at night.
The main thing about the day thing is because of the mental health. If you're having to leave at 7 o'clock in the morning, you don't know where you're going to get your lunch, you're travelling out with a heavy bag, you're feeling down as it is, all you can think about is just getting from one thing to the next thing. Whereas the next through, then get back for the shelter for night. And there's no dignity.
In 2016, it was reported that the number of rough sleepers in Salford had risen by 600% over the last 5 years. In 2019, Salford's Mayor, Paul Dennett, and Manchester Mayor, Andy Burnham, announced a £3.7 million housing development to tackle homelessness. However, there is some good news as homelessness dropped by 10% in the Greater Manchester area over the last 12 months after the start of the A Bed Every Night campaign. Graham Fradley stays at the shelter and describes how they help people like him.
They help people, they're in connection with an organisation called Achieve, for example, if people need help with drug or alcohol issues, or they're connected with Loaves and Fishes where you can go and look at housing problems or, things like that.
The work that the Narrowgate shelter is doing to get people off the streets is incredible, and they are always looking for extra volunteers around Christmas time. Libby Goodman, Salford Now.
With Christmas less than 2 weeks away, it's time to warm up those vocal cords for caroling. Inspiring Communities Together has hosted a group sing-along in Kersal in order to help with neighbourhood issues that members of the community have raised. Emma Gunn has more.
Inspiring Communities Together are a charitable incorporated organisation who work to make a difference in Charlestown and Lower Kersal. Last night they hosted their 5th annual festive sing-along.
Whatever's raised will go to the food bank, and as you can see we've got a food bank collection as well, so we try to encourage those people that are attending the event, if they can, to bring a small gift.
The event has grown larger each year, encouraging people of any age to attend, support and donate towards a cause.
Well, I'm the local neighbourhood officer for this area of Kersal. It's a good way for us to widen our profile within the community and to talk to anybody about any issues that they might have, or be anything that they might wish to report to us.
Well, this is a nice local one. It's organised by sort of the community workers for the local community.
And we helped out with the last one as well, and that was really fun, so we've come back.
So we want to continue and every year make it bigger and better. Today we've got some of our partners like Salix Homes are here. So again, a lot of the people that attend, they live in Salix Homes houses. So it's an opportunity again for us all to come together to celebrate this community and where we live and how we live in the community.
Emma Gunn, Salford Now.
As you are probably aware, it's election day across the United Kingdom. Polling stations have been open since 7 a.m. and will close at 10 p.m. But it's not just humans heading down to the local voting booths.
That's right, TK. Some people have been voting alongside their beloved dogs. So much so that the hashtag dogs at polling stations is currently trending on Twitter. Look at that guy. He's having the time of his life. Head over to
salfordnow.co.uk to stay up to date with all things Salford ahead of the election tonight.
That's all time we have for today. Until then, bye-bye.
We'll be back at 10 p.m. tonight on the election special.